How do everyone? Welcome again to Thank Potty. I've got to actually look at that sign to see it, because I get mixed up. Thank Potty, it's Friday. And as you can see there, we've got a guest there. Now, who can this be? Now, straight away, once you hear his voice, you'll think, not UK. And actually, Loki or Locke, hello, sir, welcome in, is probably the furthest person in the UK garden. You're New Zealand. Loki, how are you doing, sir?
Hi, Tony. Well, thank you.
Hey, listen, it's an honor to have you on there because if anyone doesn't know, Loki's been kind of in, like the comments and, a fine patron of mine as well over on Patreon, and just advice that's given in our Discord. And look, to be honest, your garden, your pictures of your garden, kind of staggering. To be honest, they're just lovely. You know what I mean? So I've wanted to kind of always for a while talk to you, just as kind of talking as gardeners, because you're a million miles away. But I'm thinking we are just this in the same kind of routine, but on different, like 2 months difference. You know what I mean? So I'm guessing you now. Are you in the height of your summer, the height of your growing season?
Yeah, we're in the middle of summer right now.
Right. So is it, I mean, what's it? Are you growing, I know this is kind of weird, are you growing like UK vegetables, or have you got your own kind of special, New Zealand tropical fruits that you can grow or not?
No, very much the same as the UK, from what I understand. We're temperate, so still in a temperate. We still get the 4 seasons. It's a little bit milder winters and a little bit milder summers, from my understanding as well.
Right.
So we don't quite get those extreme heats. Like we haven't had the 40 degrees, which I seen you guys get last season. But yeah, we get the nice consistent weather.
Do you still get the same bugs? Do you get, I know this sounds, I'm totally, honestly, look, I'm totally naive with, like, say, your environment, do you still get cabbage white butterflies? You know what I mean? Do you still get oh, you do, right?
So the monarch butterfly as well is another one that's quite common.
Right. So what about kind of, with your garden, what about pests then? Do you do the same as us? Do you netting? Have you got different techniques?
Yeah, we do the netting. It's more for birds for us. That's our biggest pest. So I net my blueberries to keep the birds off, but much of everything else I can have in abundance. Enough strawberries to keep the birds have a little bit, and I have a little bit, and family has a little bit, and the neighbours have a little bit, and everybody gets some. So we grow a lot more than what I need just for the fun of it.
I don't like giving the birds too much. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of my little.
I don't mind it.
So tell us then a little bit then about yourself, if you don't mind. I know I don't want to be kind of cheeky or anything like that. Have you always been a gardener? Has it been like in your blood from a kid, or is it something that's kind of developed new?
Yeah, I'd say pretty much since COVID, when everyone had to stay at home, and I was a builder for 20 years, and I've retired for that due to some health reasons where I just couldn't keep up with the pace anymore. So I thought, what can you do? Gardening's in the family. My mum loves it. My grandparents were real enthusiasts of it. So yeah, I'll give it a go, have fun. So I built myself a raised bed and started watching a couple of YouTube things, and I put in, they were the starts, little 6-tray cell starts that I got from 6 different vegetables, the brassicas. So there was a cauliflower, broccoli, a kale. Yeah.
Was that the start then? So just like 3 years ago, just because I've seen photographs of, of kind of obvious stuff there, and it's,
yeah.
You're a quick learner then, because I've been doing it for bloody years. You know what I mean? And I mean, I think that's the beauty of gardening. You come up against, or you have like faults or problems which you would normally think I can deal with this, but then it hits you again after, like, say 20 years or 1 year, and it's just like bloody hell. Do you know what I mean? So that's amazing. And was this, your garden? Was it just like a garden for, like, the trampolines for the kids and stuff like that? And then you've slowly slowly converted it into a veg garden.
Yeah.
And
yep, it started with one, and now I've got plenty.
Right, right. What size is your garden, Look?
It's hard to say because the sections, it's in a back section of a property. So it's in a sort of a triangle because I'm on the end of a cul-de-sac. So to give a scale of it, it's, I think it's 600 square meters is the whole property of the house. And I'm probably gardening with the back half of it,
Right,
minus the house. So that's probably 300 square meters to garden
right. Oh
with
wow,
a
wow.
little bit of
Right.
kids equipment in there as well.
And I mean, are you going for the holy grail of gardening, trying to get like veg right the way through, or is this, like the kind of, I'm going to say the easy months, you know what I mean, the kind of productive months, should we say? Is that where you garden?
Uh yeah, it's a little bit different just from the because I didn't understand what the Hungry Gap was till I'd watched a couple of UK YouTubers and whatnot. So that's not such a thing here. We can still garden right the way through winter and have a winter season. It's more the brassicas, the things, the what are they, the broad beans, those sorts of things. All the winter veg, which you consider the later, then
Right,
we can grow those through the winter. And then we have our summer veg, which we grow. So we eat a lot. Seasonal for us is all year round. It's just a
right.
different food selection each season.
It must be, do you know what I mean? Just because, like you say, you're like just a little bit milder, and I'm just like, that must be so nice for like a gardening dream. Do you know what I mean? Because if you, I don't know if you listened to last Monday's show, Audrey's there in Detroit, minus like 19 degrees. Everything just stops. Do you know what I mean? At least even better than us, because I think we're about -4 this morning. You know what I mean? It stops now for us. Do you know what I mean? Even trying to drag some salad through a polytunnel isn't going to kick it in this weather, and it just kind of stands dormant. You know what I mean? So must be nice to just know that. I mean, you certainly couldn't, I'm guessing, grow tomatoes in your winter. Is that right?
Uh, I did. That's the funny thing. I overwintered one, and then when I've got a little garden that I got a passion fruit with a frame growing up, and a volunteer popped up in autumn. So I thought I'll see how this we do. It grew, it slowly progressed all the way through winter, and I think it was a week before spring that I was able to take a tomato off it. But the plant was didn't look the best, but I only got 3 tomatoes, but it actually survived. So I think with a glass house going right through, I could, because I had overwintered mine
Right.
as well. So I think if I had them as a bigger plant, they could actually produce.
So have you got another? Have you got like any kind of like greenhouse, hoop house, polytunnel on your property? Have you?
Yeah, I've got one glass house up at the moment that's fully set up, and I've got another one that the frame's up that I'm just waiting to set up which glass I want for it.
So am I right then? If just say if you have in the glass house and it's over here, it's greenhouse. Look, it's greenhouse. That's you know what I mean? Queen's English, if you don't mind. Have you got tomatoes in there now? Then picking tomatoes.
No, they're outside. The tomatoes grow perfect outside. We don't. Yeah,
That's just like I know because I think Audrey has that as well. You know, like the little months she gets, she can kind of grow tomatoes outside, but I can to some degree, but they're not as you know what I mean. It's and I know down south in the UK we can kind of grow tomatoes, and I know in Scotland you can grow them, but they're always like the they're probably about 60% poorer than the indoor one. So what what would you use your greenhouse for?
I use the greenhouse that's set up at the moment is more of the propagation and just the nursery for starting all plants off and starting seedlings off. The second one I've got that I'm going to set up has got inbuilt bed, so it's like a full raised bed with a glass house on it, so that I can actually garden in it. I possibly thinking of doing a bit more things like tropical that are a pineapple or things like that because we can't, that's out of my growing zone for sure. But in the glass house, I might be able to pull that off. Or
Right. And would you pineapple for God's sake, man? Would you add heat
yeah,
to that?
that's tropical.
Would you put heat in that to get that away then, that pineapple?
No,
Right, right. You
I might need to make it work, but I wouldn't initially to
uh-huh,
try.
uh-huh.
I'd let it see, because if we can start it off in spring or whatnot and it goes right through, it'll still, because the winter's still quite mild, very light frost if any. Um, I've got bananas out there that they overwintered outside, and they went through. They looked a bit ragged and wind beaten for the winter gales, but they're now looking really good and taking off. They're about 4 meters high.
Right, right.
Had those for 2 years now, and they're just straight in the ground.
Uh-huh. And where you are, New Zealand, because I think you said you're kind of close to Wellington. Do you ever have like a winter that would just kind of take them banana plants out? Is it a possibility, or is it not really something that
Yeah,
happens? Right.
yeah, it would be a possibility, and I've had to sort of, they're tucked in a little area in behind a water tank against the fence, and tucked in with a tin shed. So a nice little alcove that keeps them well wind protected, or the best they can be.
Uh-huh.
So it sort of
Uh-huh.
has a little microclimate in there for to grow. No,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
they
Right.
make it that way. But if
Fingers.
we got a nasty frost, I'd possibly lose them.
Mhm. Fingers crossed, then, lad. Fingers crossed. What? Look, have you got, like over here in the UK? Because I don't think, I'm sure Audrey haven't, they haven't over there in America. We've got like allotments, which kind of came from the word like allotted, you know what I mean? And given kind of from the government. Have you got anything of that system or anything like that? You haven't got allotments,
No, not that I'm aware of. And
right?
again, I was only made aware of them by watching YouTubers on the
Uh-huh.
UK and finding out what allotments are. And for
Right.
me, I just think, how, that's such a snazzy idea for the price you could pay for an allotment.
Oh, I know, I
That's
know.
I definitely have one now that I'm a gardener, so I
So it must be then.
want one.
Well, I guess it is difficult, or like New Zealand, you've got a garden you've got to do your veg garden in your garden. There's no really chance of you've got to be kind of serious to go and buy some land, I guess, to grow your veg. Then everything's got to be produced on your back doorstep, really.
For yourself, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow, wow. It's so we grumble at the prices, look, but in the grand scheme of things, like £100 for like a year's gardening is just great, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice, nice thing to have. What I'm interested as well, look, do you get any benefit, like say, because I do, do you know what I mean? Like mentally, going up the garden is a total kind of stress reliever. Do you, as soon as you step in your back garden, is there something that just goes and you can just lose yourself for like hours in your garden? Or is it a bit of a stressful battle with nature?
no, it's just it's definitely a stress relief when I get out there and just get my head down and potter about, as I can say. But yeah, no, I'd say definitely.
Do you do you potter about? Do you lose the hours? Do you know what I mean? Do you get lost in it, and then you look up and go, "Oh God, it's bloody 2 hours have gone by," or is it because for me it's to have a garden like right on your doorstep. It must be ideal. Do you know what I mean? Mine's not that far away, but it's like you could come in, have a cup of tea, and you can go back out. You know what I mean? So it must just be a lovely. And I know there's a lot of viewers have gardens, but to have that opportunity just to step outside and you've got your tomatoes right on your doorstep is
Yeah, yeah,
oh
definitely. When I'm in the mood or in the motion of getting something done in a project, as they say, then it's not uncommon to work right up to I'm packing up, beat the sun going down, putting tools away or doing whatnot. And sometimes it doesn't matter because you're right there. So yeah, on that respect, I'd say definitely I lose myself. I push myself right to that last minute a lot quite often.
what about then like the produce you make, are you good in the kitchen as well, or do you kind of just so how do you because I don't preserve. The odd kind of chilies I'll dry and stuff like that, and I can boil potatoes and cook a Sunday dinner and them kind of things. What do you do with all your veg then, Look?
My mother, she's an excellent cook, and she pretty much cooks a few meals a week out of that, at least for me. And then yeah, she takes a lot of the veg. I give a lot of the veg away. I eat a lot of it raw, different snacks and things, and the fruits and things that I can eat out there. I'll just graze it when I'm out in the garden. That's a great thing to do. But yeah, regarding cooking, definitely it all goes to my mum. I don't cook at all. I've never learned to cook properly. So and had always had
Well, it's funny because
occasional.
I'm the cook in our house, and I mean, controlling basic skills. But the kids now, because of like TikTok and YouTube, watching videos like that, they're making all these kind of fancy things. You know what I mean? So it's just. And I heard you were making scones with your daughter. So did they turn out nice?
Yes, yes, no, they turned out lovely.
That's one thing, mind you. We've tried a few times, to make scones and just like failed miserably, failed like not even miserably, failed ridiculously bad. You know what I mean? Like rock hard, not like these pancake looking things. So if you've got that skill, look, then you know what I mean. You can go far. So what you doing now in your, because honestly, -4 outside, it's freezing, look. It's like there's nothing, even in my greenhouse, the temperatures are falling. What are you doing in your garden this week?
It's probably just keeping an eye on everything. I've got tomatoes almost ready to pick, ripening, turning red as we speak. Yeah, there's just keeping on top of things. I think there's corn. I've been running around picking the blueberries and having handfuls of those at the moment. Strawberries galore. I've just got a few raised beds full of probably a couple raised beds extra or more than what I'd needed. But it's just, yeah, it's that sort of thing at the moment. It's just harvesting and keeping on top of the little weeds, picking here and there, and it takes
I
my
was gonna
notice.
I was gonna ask about weeds, and what is weeds a problem? Because in a like if you mustn't have much, I would have thought, of like blown in weeds. So what kind of weeds do you get? Thistles? Do you get nettles?
Yep. Stinging nettle is a common one here, so I still have fun with that one, getting the sting now and again. I tend to not garden with gloves, so I suffer occasionally when I
No, no.
cross the stinging nettle or blackberry. I deal with that one. I've
It's
got that growing up with neighbours.
it's it's a fascinating just even to have a conversation with you, look. You know what I mean? Knowing that how far you are away. You know what I mean? As a, people can see there, I'm recording this at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's 10 o'clock at night for you. You know what I mean? Totally opposite. You're in your summer with all the veg like at the height. You know what I mean? Where in the winter with nothing. You know what I mean? We're just starting with peppers there now. That's a thought I was thinking about. Chilies, like in peppers, just still, it's a long grown season. Would you use heat to germinate them, or can you get away with just germinating? Have you not tried chilies yet?
Yeah, I've done chilies a few years ago, but they were from starts from the garden centre. Uh, I did chilies. I got myself a Super 7 because I seen all the
Oh,
photos
a round of
and
applause.
ordered
They're
one of
over
those.
there in New Zealand.
Yeah, so I used one of those to start things off early in the season for me. And I did do some, what did I do? I did chili there with the habaneros. I did some
Right.
bell peppers and some bullhorn. So a couple of sweet peppers and one of the hot peppers or hot chilies.
Can you take the heat of a chili pepper or not? Or
I can, yeah, I can. But it's more of, as I say, I don't cook. So when I did grow them a couple of years ago, they ended up going to waste. Well, I don't say go to waste. A lot went to the compost, but the few that did get given away were enjoyed. But
very good.
they went down, I'll go down and have a Thai dish and have a pad Thai, and I'll ask for it Thai hot. So I do like it hot or something like that.
What's just before we kind of wrap up then, just look, what's the I'm gonna say the worst veg for you? Maybe not to grow or well, yes. What's the most difficult veg you've tried to grow?
I'd say cucumber, but then this year it's actually succeeded.
Right.
So I've got a couple of types of cucumber. They're not looking great, but I am able to harvest a couple of different variations, the telegraph, and one is it's still a cucumber shape, but it's got the apple cucumber color, the white cucumber, and they're growing really quite well at the moment. So,
And would these be out? Would these be outside or inside? Like in the
they're
greenhouse?
outside.
Outside,
Yeah.
right? I have honestly, I've cucumbers outside for me. I haven't had a single one. You know what I mean? They just go moldy and crappy and everything. You know what I mean? So nothing like that for me. What's your favorite veg then, Luke, to grow?
If you count, well, it's hard to say. I'd say tomatoes, but if you count that as a vegetable, then yeah.
Yeah. No, we will. We'll sneak that one in. Hey, look, listen, it's been like an honor and a pleasure just to, for
Oh,
even
well,
for for staying up and kind of sitting in front of a camera for the first time. It's a scary thing. So big, honestly, a big thank you
very
for doing that. You know what I mean? It's appreciated. Hopefully, we'll get you back on sometime as well and have chats and see how the weather's doing down there. And we'll get you on in the middle of your winter and we can all gloat. Do you know what I mean? That would be nice. Look, thank you so much for coming on and giving it like a little kind of look into kind of the New Zealand life. Thank you so much, lad.
no problem. Thank you very much, Tony.
Take good care, everyone. Thank you very much. Toodle pip.